Lauren said she had to travel for work. 4 weeks in Nevada, a new branch opening, handpicked by her manager. Ethan smiled and wished her luck. But something didn't fit. She packed light, too light for a month away. No framed photos of the kids like she always took. Just a carry-on and her perfume. He offered to drive her to the airport. She said no, said she didn't want him to be late for work. Her eyes didn't meet his. That night, Ethan lay awake, staring at the ceiling. The house felt too quiet, too clean, too hollow. He couldn't shake the unease pressing in his chest. At 2 a.m., he walked to the nightstand and picked up her phone. Same 4-digit code she'd had for years. It unlocked easily. A message appeared at the top. "Don't forget your perfume. Our room's ready." From a number saved under JB. His pulse stopped. He scrolled, hands trembling. 3 months of messages, each one more damning than the last. Pictures, emojis, hotel receipts, private jokes. JB wasn't just anyone. He was Jacob Barnes, her coworker, a married man with 2 kids. Ethan knew the name from company parties. He even shook the man's hand once. He felt sick. He wanted to scream, but didn't. Instead, he took screenshots, every message, every photo. He saved them to a hard drive, then uploaded a copy to his cloud. Evidence. Proof. He went to the closet and found Lauren's old iPad. The one she said was too slow for work. He charged it and waited. When it turned on, it was still logged into her Apple account. Messages, photos, synced backups, everything was there. A picture stopped him cold. Lauren in a hot tub with Jacob. Matching robes. Wine glasses raised. Timestamp from the same weekend. She told him she was on a retreat. He stared at the screen for a long time. His mind went blank, then sharp again. He opened every folder, every email, every hidden file. He printed everything with dates and times. He created a timeline. He didn't cry. He didn't shout. He just planned. At dawn, he called his lawyer, a friend from high school who specialized in family law. Adultery was still grounds for at-fault divorce in Texas. That meant leverage, custody, protection of assets. His lawyer told him to stay calm, stay quiet, document everything. Ethan nodded, even though no one could see him. He hung up and sat in the dark, the weight of betrayal pressing on his chest. He looked around the house he built with his own hands. Every photo, every memory, every wall now felt poisoned. But he wasn't broken. Not yet. He promised himself one thing. He would not lose his children. And Lauren would never see it coming. Ethan woke before sunrise. He didn't feel anger anymore. Only clarity. The kind that comes after shock fades and reason takes over. He brewed coffee, opened his laptop, and started writing notes. Every date, every message, every lie she told. He organized the evidence like a case file. It wasn't about revenge now. It was about control. He called his accountant next. They moved 90% of his savings into a family trust. His mother became trustee, legally protected, out of Lauren's reach. He changed the passwords on every account. Closed the joint credit cards. Filed a new checking account under his name only. He wasn't hiding money. He was protecting it. By Texas law, he was allowed to. He printed the property deeds, traced the timelines, and secured the assets. By noon, his financial world was airtight. Lauren wouldn't even know until her card declined. He called his lawyer again that afternoon. The man said, "Don't confront her yet. Let her walk into her own storm." Ethan agreed. That night, he copied the hard drive and mailed a second one to his lawyer's office. He wanted backups for everything. Then he wrote a short, anonymous letter. It was addressed to Mrs. Barnes. Inside was a packet of screenshots, timestamps, and photos. No threats. Just truth. He dropped it in the mailbox and walked away. When he came home, he looked around the living room. The house looked the same, but it didn't feel like home anymore. It was a crime scene, dressed as a family space. He sat at the kitchen table, staring at Lauren's favorite mug. He felt nothing. That was the scariest part. The next morning, he called her HR department. He said there was a serious violation of company conduct between two employees. They asked for documentation. He sent it. 2 days later, his lawyer confirmed both Lauren and Jacob were under investigation. By Friday, the divorce papers were ready. Grounds, adultery. Attached, 87 pages of evidence. He signed them without hesitation. He didn't tell anyone, not even his parents, until later that night. He drove to his mother's house and explained everything. She listened quietly, then said, "Do what you have to do, Ethan." He nodded. It was the first time he felt something close to peace. Over the weekend, he made copies of the divorce packet. One went to the county clerk. One stayed locked in a safe. The final set, he left in an envelope labeled with her name. He placed it on the key tray by the front door, the same spot where she always dropped her purse. He looked at it one last time before heading to bed. Tomorrow, she would return from her business trip. Tomorrow, she would learn what betrayal really costs. Ethan turned off the light, closed his eyes, and waited for morning. Lauren came home late on Thursday night. The kids were asleep, the house spotless, dinner waiting in the fridge. Ethan sat at the table, sorting invoices like it was any other evening. The envelope sat quietly by the door, her name printed in bold letters. She walked in, heels clicking, suitcase rolling behind her. "Hey," she said softly, smiling like nothing had happened. Ethan looked up, nodded once, said nothing. She went upstairs, showered, changed, and came back down in her robe. That's when she saw it. Her eyes froze on the envelope. She picked it up, confused, reading the first page. Her voice cracked. "What the hell is this?" "Exactly what it looks like," Ethan said. "You've been served." Her face shifted fast, shock, denial, rage. "This is insane. You're divorcing me because I traveled for work." Ethan didn't flinch. "No, I'm divorcing you because I have 87 pages of proof." He slid a folder toward her. "Receipts, messages, photos, you want to see them." She went pale. For a moment, she looked like she couldn't breathe. Then anger took over. "You're not taking my kids," she shouted. "This is my house too." Ethan's voice stayed calm. "No, it's not. The deed is under my mother's trust now. Your name's not on it." Lauren's jaw tightened. She stormed into the office, pulling drawers, searching for papers. Ethan didn't move. He let her dig. 10 minutes later, she called her best friend, Chloe. Her voice was shaking. "He's trying to ruin me. He's insane." By morning, Chloe was at the house, pounding on the door. She walked in without knocking, yelling in front of the kids. "You're destroying this family, Ethan. This is your midlife crisis talking." He told her to leave. She refused. He called the cops. They showed up quietly, filed a trespassing report, and escorted her out. No drama, just paperwork. Lauren's expression shifted again. Now it was fear. She realized he wasn't bluffing. All weekend, she bombarded Ethan with texts. Long paragraphs, accusing him of cruelty, manipulation, financial abuse. He didn't respond. He documented everything. Screenshots, dates, messages. Her parents arrived next, demanding to talk. Her father said Ethan was overreacting to a mistake. Her mother cried, saying men never understand what women go through. Ethan didn't argue. He handed them the binder. 5 pages in, her father stopped reading. He closed it, set it down, and said nothing. They left without another word. That night, the phone rang nonstop. Friends, neighbors, coworkers, everyone had heard something. Lauren had started spinning her story online. Ethan replied with PDFs of the truth. One by one, the messages stopped coming. By Sunday, the house was silent again. Lauren packed a small bag and left for her parents' place. She didn't take the kids. Ethan stood at the window, watching her car disappear down the street. The war had started, and she didn't even realize she'd already lost. The first court hearing came 2 weeks later. Lauren arrived in a beige suit, pretending to be calm. Ethan stood beside his lawyer, silent, collected. She claimed he was controlling, cold, and manipulative. Said he used money to punish her. Her lawyer painted her as a victim of emotional abuse. Ethan's attorney let her finish, then opened the binder. Inside were records of every doctor visit, school pickup, and payment. Photos of Ethan at recitals, dentist offices, soccer games. Lauren's name missing from all attendance sheets. The courtroom went quiet. The judge leaned forward and asked one question. "Mrs. Miller, when was the last time you attended a parent meeting?" Lauren hesitated, then stammered something about being busy. Her lawyer tried to redirect, but the damage was done. Ethan didn't smile. He didn't need to. The facts spoke louder than anger. The judge denied her motion for temporary custody. The children would stay with Ethan until further review. Lauren's face turned white. She left the courtroom without looking back. That night, she flooded social media with posts about injustice. She called Ethan a narcissist and a liar. Ethan didn't respond. He forwarded every post to his lawyer. The next week, Lauren tried again, filing a motion for spousal support. She claimed she was unemployed and dependent. Ethan's lawyer submitted screenshots of her LinkedIn profile. It showed she was still listed as a senior accounts executive. The judge dismissed the request within minutes. Lauren's expression crumbled. Her friend Chloe sat behind her, whispering, feeding her outrage. Outside the courthouse, reporters waited. Lauren tried to talk, to spin the story, but no one cared. Her reputation was cracking faster than her case. Ethan drove home to his kids. They were in the backyard, playing catch. He joined them without a word about court. He smiled for the first time in weeks. 2 days later, a court-appointed counselor visited the house. She observed the children, the routines, the stability. Ethan had meal schedules, homework logs, bedtime checklists. The kids were calm, laughing, secure. The counselor wrote her report that night. Father provides consistent care and emotional stability. Mother demonstrates limited involvement and reactive behavior. Lauren tried to fight it, accusing Ethan of coaching the kids. The judge shut it down. He warned her that false claims could lead to sanctions. Lauren cried in court, saying she had lost herself in motherhood. Ethan stayed silent. He wasn't there to win sympathy. He was there to protect his children. When the gavel hit the desk, the judge made it official. Primary custody would remain with Ethan. Lauren would have supervised visitation only. Her tears turned into fury, but it didn't matter. Ethan walked out of the courthouse feeling lighter. For the first time, justice didn't feel like revenge. It felt like safety. For him. And for the kids who never asked for any of this. Lauren's world began to collapse piece by piece. She lost her job the following month. HR called it a policy violation. She called it betrayal. Jacob stopped answering her messages completely. His wife had filed for divorce, using the same evidence Ethan sent. Lauren tried calling him late at night, begging for help. He blocked her. She tried reaching out to his wife, claiming it was all a misunderstanding. Blocked again. Her social circle started shrinking. Friends stopped replying to her texts. Neighbors avoided eye contact at the grocery store. The story had spread farther than she thought. Everyone knew about the affair. Everyone knew she lost the kids. Lauren tried to reclaim sympathy online. She posted long rants about unfair courts and corrupt systems. Chloe reposted them with hashtags about women's rights. But comments turned cold. People asked questions she couldn't answer. Some reminded her of the photos, the evidence, the lies. One by one, her supporters faded. Even her parents grew distant. Her father stopped taking her calls. Her mother texted once, saying, "Maybe it's time to face what you did." Lauren didn't reply. She sat in her parents' guest room, surrounded by boxes she never unpacked. Bills piled up on the dresser. She applied for a few jobs, but never got past the interviews. Her name popped up in background, checks tied to workplace misconduct. Every rejection felt heavier. One night, she drove past Ethan's house. Lights on in the kitchen, laughter spilling through the window. Noah and Emma at the table, doing homework. Ethan washing dishes, smiling. She watched for 5 minutes before driving away in tears. She tried again to reach him. Texted, "Please can we talk, I miss them." He didn't respond. She sent another message, longer this time, begging for a second chance. Still silence. Her anger returned. She posted again, accusing Ethan of turning the kids against her. He didn't even bother replying. His lawyer filed the posts as evidence of harassment. The judge extended the no-contact clause another 6 months. Lauren's frustration turned into desperation. She tried showing up at the kids' school with gifts. The principal called Ethan immediately. The gifts were returned unopened. Lauren was warned it was a violation of court order. Her hands shook when she signed the notice. Weeks passed. Chloe stopped visiting, saying she needed space. Lauren called her selfish. Chloe hung up. Her mother finally snapped after another argument. Told her, "You ruined your own life, Lauren. Stop blaming everyone else." Lauren didn't have an answer. That night she sat alone in her car, parked outside a diner. Rain hit the windshield in steady rhythm. Her phone stayed dark, no messages, no calls. For the first time, she realized Ethan hadn't destroyed her life. She had done it herself. And there was no one left to save her. Months passed, and the noise faded away. Ethan focused on work, the kids, and quiet routines. The house felt lighter now, filled with laughter again. Noah joined the Little League baseball team. Ethan coached third base, cheering at every game. Emma returned to her school's theater club. She landed a lead role and practiced lines in the living room. Ethan watched from the couch, proud and calm. There were no more late-night arguments. No more secrets. Just stability. He kept everything organized. School files, meal plans, weekend trips. The kids thrived in the rhythm he built. They slept better, smiled easier, asked fewer hard questions. Sometimes, Emma would mention her mother quietly. Ethan would listen, but never speak badly of Lauren. He just said, "She needs time to figure things out." That was enough. By spring, Ethan's business had grown stronger than ever. He hired 2 new technicians and expanded to another county. His books were clean, payroll always on time. He didn't miss a single recital or dentist appointment. Life had settled into something peaceful, steady, earned. One evening, he got a message from an unknown number. It was Lauren. She said she wanted to meet, just to talk. He stared at the screen for a long moment. Then he deleted the message. 2 days later, she showed up outside his office. Security escorted her away before she reached the door. He documented the incident and sent it to his lawyer. The judge extended the conduct clause 6 more months. After that, silence. No more calls. No more texts. No more unexpected visits. The kids stopped asking about her altogether. Their school counselor said both were adjusting better than expected. No behavioral issues, no anxiety, no signs of trauma. Ethan felt relief, not triumph. He never wanted to win. He just wanted peace. By summer, Noah earned a perfect attendance award. Emma received a leadership badge from her teacher. Ethan took photos of both and sent them to his mother. She framed them in her kitchen, smiling with pride. The trust stayed untouched, the finances steady. Ethan built a new savings plan for the kids' college funds. Every detail filed, every document clean. He had learned never to leave anything to chance again. Sometimes, on quiet nights, he'd sit on the porch after putting the kids to bed. The yard was calm, stars bright above the roof. He thought about everything that happened, the lies, the court, the silence. Then he looked inside and saw the two faces that made it all worth it. Noah laughing. Emma singing softly. The sound of a house finally healed. Ethan took a slow breath and smiled. Not because he'd won, but because, after everything, peace had finally stayed. 6 months later, the court made it final. Ethan received full custody of both children. Lauren's visitation rights expired without renewal. She never completed counseling or parenting classes. The case closed quietly, no appeal, no noise. Ethan signed the final papers and walked out of the courthouse. The sky was clear, the air still. He didn't feel victory, just release. Years of tension finally gone. At home, Noah and Emma were waiting on the porch. They ran to him, laughing, wrapping their arms around his waist. He lifted them both and smiled. No words needed. The storm had passed. That night, he sat by the window, watching the kids sleep. The house glowed softly under the porch light. No fear, no doubt, no chaos. Just quiet breathing and peace. Lauren had vanished from their world, leaving only silence behind. Ethan didn't hate her anymore. He simply stopped remembering. He looked at his children and knew they were safe. And in that stillness, he understood something simple. Justice wasn't revenge. It was peace earned through patience. The kind that stays when everything else is gone.